we're here to celebrate the retirees for 2019. Portland professionals have to adapt to many changes throughout their careers. Your time with the Portland Public Schools demonstrates that despite these changes, you have all managed to survive these years while maintaining your optimism and the faith of an educator who focuses above all on teaching and the well-being of our students with compassion, determination, and professionalism. We're happy today to be able to pay you this homage and to wish you happiness in the new life that opens up to you. I know my fellow board colleagues join me in thanking you for all you've done for the students, parents, and community of this district, and we wish you a well-earned, joyous retirement. I'll now hand it over to Superintendent Botana for the formal recognitions.
Great, thank you, Chair. Although this year's retirement celebration is a virtual one, let me begin by saying our gratitude to all of you retirees is very, very real. Collectively, you've given almost 1,200 years of dedicated service to the Portland Public Schools, and that's simply amazing. Our 44 retirees honored here today include many longtime teachers, ed techs, secretaries, a social worker, a guidance counselor, a custodian, a bus driver, 2 assistant principals, and our director of student support services. Whatever your role, you have all worked to make a difference in the lives of our students, and we can't thank you enough. I also want to acknowledge that this is a difficult time to retire. Many of you have not been able to enjoy the traditional rites of passage associated with retirement. We're holding this retirement celebration virtually. The hugs, smiles, and other expressions of love and gratitude will be different, if not any less heartfelt. But nothing we can do makes up for not being able to say goodbye face to face to colleagues, community members, and most importantly, the students that you have served faithfully and with such dedication for so many years. There's so many aspects of loss associated with a pandemic, and this is a very real one, and it bears acknowledgement and mourning. Most of you are retiring at this time, although some of you retired earlier this school year and a few will still be with us for a few more months before leaving. Be it as it may, we're taking this opportunity to formally honor you all now. Our building leaders, other supervisors, our building leaders and other supervisors will tell us a little bit about each of our retirees. And then for you retirees, we're also inviting you to make a short statement. If you wish to do so, don't feel obligated. As a small token of our thanks, retirement gifts will be delivered to all of our retirees, either at your school buildings or at your homes. Before we begin, I would like to honor one of our employees who had hoped to be with us today, Lisa Hollis, school secretary at Deering High School, who gave 5 years of dedicated service to the district. She officially retired in August of 2019, but returned to Deering on a temporary basis this school year. She had put off attending our annual retirement ceremony until this year. Sadly, however, Lisa passed away in May. She will be missed, and on behalf of the Portland Public Schools, I extend our deepest condolences to Lisa's family. This is always a bittersweet event as we combine our gratitude for your years of contributions with the realization that as you leave, we're losing a wealth of knowledge, expertise, and commitment. Sometimes we hear surprise comments about the fact that 80% of our budget goes to salaries and benefits for our staff. Those of us who work in schools know that it's because we are a people business. Without the greatest team of people, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we do. Our Portland Promise recognizes that people are our greatest resource, and this group is further evidence of that. Dear colleagues, you've made us what we are, and we are forever in your debt. Enjoy your retirement and come back to see us, or more than just see us if you're up to doing some subbing. Thank you all for all that you've done for the students and families of the Portland Public Schools. And with that, I think I'm turning it over to, who am I turning this over to, Grace?
The first one on the list is of the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I don't have the PowerPoint.
Is Janet, do you have the PowerPoint to post up?
There we go.
It's Deb.
So I can jump in here. So on behalf of the Special Education Leadership Team, we want to congratulate Deb on her retirement. Going right to the next slide. We'll miss her knowledge, positivity, and ongoing collaboration. She has a few different slides. Just a reminder that, Deb, you can't retire from being great, so you'll still be great in all of our minds. There's another slide, yep. Her knowledge of special education is beyond extensive, and her memory for students and families in the district is like no other. We'll miss how open and honest she's always been, easy to work with and relate to, and most of all, she wants what's best for kids. Deb is a rare gem who sees the silver lining in every situation and sees opportunities for students and teachers to improve and succeed. And then I think the last slide is for Malia.
Thanks, Julie. So Deb, just a few quick reflections for you. Deb's professional journey is one of the most unique and interesting I've ever known. Her incredible work ethic is born from deep roots and diverse experiences, such as running her own business, to shrimp boating, to a mid-career shift to becoming a special educator. Once in the field, she served in multiple capacities until she became the assistant director here in Portland in 2012 and the director in 2016. Deb's willingness and ability to work hard is complemented by her sincere passion and expertise in the field of serving students with exceptionalities. She leads the work with an awareness of how the decisions that get made, the services that are available, and the team's ability to work together to serve each student has a huge influence on the opportunities our students have during school and in life. Deb has an unshakable conviction that all students deserve engaging, rigorous, appropriate learning opportunities in the least restrictive environment. And for many of us, Deb is the expert we call for any and all questions about special ed. She holds an immense amount of knowledge and a huge number of tasks in her mind and in her email, which is probably her least favorite part of her work and what she'll miss least. Beyond her work ethic, passion, and leadership vision, Deb is a great teammate. She's the type of person who not only listens to feedback, but she genuinely applies it to her practice. She shows her passion and gets fired up in ways that make working with her feel authentic and fun. And Deb can be counted on for the best life stories. Hands down, she wins the award for the most unexpected stories and anecdotes at team meetings. Deb, you will be missed. You hold such huge responsibility in the role that you have. The work you do is both highly visible in ways that many of us don't experience in our work, and there's pressure in that. And it's also behind the scenes. The number of things you handle without most people seeing or understanding the contribution is unique to your work. So as you prepare to retire, I hope you know that you are seen, you are valued, and your contributions to our district are deeply appreciated. I hope you take a much needed breath, get up to Prince Edward Island, put your time and energy towards John, Luke, and your loved ones and towards your own self-care. And I hope that you'll still pick up when I call because I'm pretty nervous about losing you. All of our best wishes to you, Deb. There's loud cheers in the background, but we're all muted.
So I can just chime in here a little bit. It's been a real pleasure working for Portland Public Schools. I want to make sure that everyone knows that. I made a conscious decision in 2005 to come to the southern part of the state from up north. And I did it for good reason, and I'm really glad I chose Portland. I am really so happy to have had the experience to work here and to make a difference for students with disabilities. And I just want to say that I've worked with some amazing mentors, and it's really meant the world to me. So I just want to let people know that. And Javier, just so you know, it's really hard to go after Lisa. So that's that's difficult. So anyway, I just wanted to let people know how much I appreciate it. It was really a terribly difficult decision to make to retire. I truly wanted to keep working for another few years, and I just made a decision that I had to make. So I hope to be here for Portland if needed, and thank you sincerely for allowing me the opportunity to work for Portland. Hey, I think this is on me too. So I just want to do a shout out. I know that other people are going to go into more depth on these special educators, but I truly wanted to give a shout out to these people that are amazing, amazing special educators retiring. So you're going to hear later about, Kate Fisher, Cynthia Johnson from Riverton, Michael Quinn from Portland High, Peter Reinhardt in just a minute from the West Bayside program, and Annemarie from Portland High, and Judy Wing from Presumpscot. But just people who spent a lifetime in special education, and I just wanted to give them a shout out before we move on. So my part is to offer some words for Peter Reinhardt. Peter is a special educator who's been with Portland for, I didn't have the exact date, I'm sorry, Peter, but I think it's at least 15 years. Peter started out, and maybe Peter McCormick can help me out with this. Peter started out as an ed tech in the West program over on Douglas Street, and then became the teacher in that program in 2009. Continued to work at the West program, and then transitioned to West at Falmouth, and then to Bayside when we were in the on Portland Street. So Peter's been, a consummate special educator. He was a person who made good relationships with students and made a decision to retire earlier this year. So I put a shout out for Peter down there. He really is, I don't think he's with us tonight, but he was our cartoonist and our realist. Every day he would post a, humorous cartoon and some artwork on things that were important to kids and that kids would feel a connection to. So I wish Peter, good luck in his retirement, and I really hope to see him around sometime.
Next up is the custodial department, and Steve Thoms is not available, so he posted a video. So Janet, you may want to click to the next slide. It has the video. The next one.
Hello folks, my name is Steve Toms. I'm a custodial supervisor for Portland Public Schools. We're here today to recognize two employees, custodians, who are, one is already retired and the other will be retiring at the end of August. We got Chai Ho, who has 28 years with Portland Public Schools. The first 25 were at Portland High, and his last 3 was with Mr. Todd Schools at Lincoln Middle School. Robert has been there with Mr. Prescott for the last 5 years, and before that he worked for the Portland Prescott for 40 some odd years. 44. We want to wish them well on your retirement and hope the best for you both, and we want to thank you for your service. Thank you. We're gonna present you with this jacket, this fleece jacket, Portland Public Schools. Chai has already received his because Chai retired back in January. So we want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Great job. And
Allison Dame will speak for Deering High School.
Hi, I'm here if you want to click to the next slide. So we'd first like to honor Ms. Salzberg. A motif running through my comments tonight will be that I wish I had gotten to know all of these educators better. I'm only my second year in the district. And so as I reflected on each of them, I kept having that thought, and certainly true for Annemarie. She is the most calming, reassuring, principled presence. She just exudes something that just is so calming and reassuring, and I think she intends it for the students and the families, but I know that myself and the teachers often drank from that well as well. She's built a career about making sure that every student was prepared to live a life of dignity, and she just really carried that value, and I think reminded people in just the way that she worked of the need for everyone to live a life of dignity, and it was a powerful thing. I learned a lot from Annemarie about the ways both your demeanor and the way that you are organized and prepared for meetings just sets families and students at ease, and that's something I'll definitely remember from Annemarie. So thank you so much. It was an honor to work with you. Jerry Adams is our secretary and guidance, and she is the heart of the school. Oh, someone I didn't put the heart there, but that's how I would say it. Students know it too. I think if they would have just a small problem, like they forgot something, or they needed a metro ticket or lunch, or they just were worried about something, they would just naturally head to Jerry. They knew they would get a loving response and some help. I know our school counselors are going to miss Jerry a lot. She held that office up and together in every way. But I think what I'll remember most is just how students relied on her when they were feeling a little stressed out. They just very naturally went to Jerry, and she was always, always there for them. Sarah Schmidt is a justice warrior. One of my favorite memories of Sarah is that, I think this is true, that she got a Prius but then had to like trade it in because the pickup wasn't good enough. And I really related to that like need for speed and also helping the earth, like conundrum that she was in. And I think it really sums up something about Sarah. She is still fighting. She is still sending us emails and attending meetings to get our curriculum decolonized and to make sure that every student has a curriculum that works for them. Students knew that about her and flocked to her classes for that reason. She never stopped innovating her curriculum up till like a couple hours ago. And I think I still expect to hear from Sarah, because if there's any injustice happening at Deering, I think she'll be knocking on our door. So thank you so much, Sarah. Audrey Rolfe is an art teacher, and the art rooms are one of my favorite spaces in Deering. I think many students will look back on those spaces as just a calming sanctuary where they found themselves and found solace and discovered talents. She was often revealing to students talents they didn't know they had. It's a very inspiring space to walk into. But what I learned about Audrey that I didn't know when I first started at Deering, because it is such a calming sort of sanctuary in the school, is that she is a really fierce advocate for that space and for that work. And I came to really admire how fiercely she works to create that peaceful space for students. Everyone in Portland Public Schools should make time to go see the mural that she helped students to launch. It was a simple revelation as she led them to to do a mural with rams who were sleeping and eating and smelling flowers, and just really allowed me to think about the ram in a new way. And that mural has the national flowers of the countries where all our students come from. It's very beautiful. So yeah, just bringing beauty wherever she goes, but also fighting for that to happen. A real pleasure to work with Audrey. Steve Rogers has been a mentor to me, knows school leadership very well, and I love our conversations about that. One thing I've heard Steve say more than once is it's possible, we just have to do it. So really, he gets the big picture, he sees how we could be better, and he's always pushing his colleagues to see that bigger picture and to push toward it too, and to not get stuck. So that was very appreciated. Relentless advocate for his kids. Recently we had Sun School at Deering to push our kids with IEs, and he got 100% of them through just relentless outreach and contact. It's amazing. So thank you, Steve.
Hi, can you hear me, Grace?
Yes.
All right, so hi everyone, I'm Boyd Marley, and I'm the principal of East End Community School. And we are, first of all, from East End, we'd like to say congratulations to all the retirees. You all inspire us every day. We're fortunate enough to have Tambria Alexander as our retiree. Well, lucky enough and sad enough, actually. I think this quote, "We will miss her insight and collaborative spirit," really captures Tambria. If you could go to the next slide, please. Tambria is the quintessential professional as far as she always puts students first. She could come in and she could help us diagnostically look at a child's needs. She was a longtime ELL teacher, I should say. And she just had such a wealth of knowledge, but she was that type of professional that not only could help you help a child, but she could also grow you professionally. I felt like most of my time working with Tambria was as the assistant principal at East End, and I truly feel like she imparted a great deal of that professionalism and hopefully some of those instincts in me as an educational leader. The next slide will show some comments from her peers. I loved working with Tambria because she was all about the kids. Tambria always carried through. This is my favorite, because anyone who's done access testing, students and the adults that administer it knows it can be a hectic time, a lot of chaos. And Tambria, no matter what the situation, always had grace and presence, or as it says, elegance. And that she was highly perceptive of students' ability needs, was able to identify and pinpoint those challenges. As I said, Tambria is, I feel, is a wonderful person and an even better professional. She is just the person that you'd want in the classroom with you to help our students grow. So if you go to the next slide, please. And this Miss Alexander, out at recess one day, as a staff, we just want her to know that we will miss her, we love her, and we wish her health and happiness in the future. So thank you to Tambria and all the retirees. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sue Ellen Santiago. I'm the principal of Lincoln Middle School, and it's an honor to be here tonight to celebrate the career of Denise Pricer. Ready for the first slide? Here we go. Denise joined the Lincoln faculty in 2003, and she has been our physical education teacher and wellness champion for 17 years. Teaching has changed a great deal over the years, but Denise has embraced every shift and always does what's best for kids. The pictures here were not easy to get because Denise does not like to be in the spotlight. She avoids the camera at all costs. She's always pushing me to be in the pictures and kids to be in the pictures and teachers to be in the pictures. But here you just see a highlight of some examples of the many gifts she has given to our students and community over the years. Denise works harder than anyone I know. She is passionate about wellness and is committed to helping students learn lifelong skills that will help them achieve their personal fitness goals and lead a healthy lifestyle. In addition to teaching full-time, she has been a member of the district wellness team, has led the LMS staff and student wellness teams, and has actively supported 5210 Let's Go and Fuel Up to Play 60 at Lincoln within the district and at the state level. She has written countless grants and has brought so many resources to our school through her involvement in these organizations. And an added bonus, if you would go to the next slide, she has made countless connections with professional athletes to give words of inspiration to our students. The center picture here is a screenshot of a Zoom call during remote learning with a few members of the student wellness team and a member of the New England Patriots. I'm very jealous. The next slide. Denise has inspired all of us in so many ways, and I aspire to have half as much energy as she does. These are words our staff has used to describe Denise, and I couldn't agree more with every one of them. On behalf of our staff and school community, I wish her nothing but the best. We love you, Denise.
Good evening, everyone. Lenore Williams, principal of Lyseth Elementary School. I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity to honor our Lyseth retirees tonight. We have 4 staff members to highlight this evening, and I'd like to begin. Grace Valenzuela, are you ready?
Ready.
One more. Another one. Another one. There we go. I'd like to begin with Leslie Ross Packer. You can go back one more, please, Grace. Leslie has served 34 years in the Portland Public Schools. She began her career tutoring and subbing on Long Island, Maine in a 2-room early K-5 school where she actually attended school herself. Her first long-term subbing position was there in 1987 with the early K to 2nd grade. The following year, she was a teaching assistant at Riverton and interviewed for several teaching positions. I think this is noteworthy, everybody. A grade 5 at Presumpscot, a GT teaching position in Portland, and a 4-5 co-teaching position at Waynflete. All 3 schools called her that same day to tell her that she had the job. And she chose the GT position here in Portland, which was, wait for it, everybody, a K2 at Baxter Elementary, a 3-5 at Clifford, Long Island and Peaks, and a grade 6 at Lincoln. I mean, really. So Leslie's worked in every Portland elementary school and at Lyman Moore and Lincoln Middle Schools. And I would like to call everybody's attention to the slideshow because these are words that everybody on staff here at Lyseth had used to when thinking about Leslie, these are the things that came up. So I wanted to show her. And she is, as you can see, a devoted mother and grandmother. I wish her all the best in retirement. All right, Grace Valenzuela, are you ready? Next, I'd like to speak about Linda Stimson, ELL teacher at Lyseth. Linda served in the Portland Public Schools for 19 years. She was hired in 2001 to fill a long-term sub position as an ELL classroom teacher at Riverton School, grades 2-3. When the sub position ended that winter, she was hired by the multilingual department as an ELL resource specialist, where she helped create experiential programming and taught classes at Hall Elementary School and Lincoln Middle School. In 2004, she was hired permanently at Riverton as a grade 1-2 ELL classroom teacher, and it's been our good fortune at Lyseth to have her for the past 10 years as an ELL teacher. And again, here are some sentiments that our Lyseth staff has shared, and here she is with some of our beautiful students. Thank you, Linda, for everything. And when the word advocate is at the center of the star, and I have to say, Linda was, and I'm sure will continue to be a tireless advocate for those who need support. Thank you, Linda. And next, oh boy, Susan Russell, kindergarten teacher at Lysa. Beautiful Susan thinks she has 31 years in Portland Public Schools. She doesn't know because she's enjoyed the ride so much she hasn't kept track of the time. A volunteer in the spring of 1986, and then moved on to a long-term sub-positions at Lysa and Riverton. Her work then put her in an ed tech position at Riverton for half a year, and she then transitioned into a first grade teaching position at Riverton before moving to early K and K teaching positions at Lysa. She has spent the remainder of her career in kindergarten and first grade teaching positions. And I can tell you this, it is completely bittersweet. I am happy for her to be leaving, and I am very sad that there is going to be generations of children to come who will not have the good fortune of having Susan Russell in their lives. While she did leave the district for 1 year, I think it was a foray in Mexico, Maine, not Mexico, the country, she came home to Portland for good and has called Lysa her home since 1992. I love you, Susan Russell. You are the most amazing teacher. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to and work side by side. All right, this is getting really tough. I'm ready for the next slide. And I hope these folks will want, I know Susan's not going to speak, but next is Mr. Peter McCormick. There we are in field day, hot dog barbecue. I don't know how many hot dogs I've grilled with Peter McCormick. Peter was hired back in 1984 at Portland High School as a resource teacher. That's how long his career in special education spans. He later became a learning strategist. He was there until the summer of 1999 when he was asked to be the summer administrator of the prep program when the director of that program left, and he stayed there and he transformed the program into the West School Day Treatment Program and was there as director until the summer of 2009. In 2009, he became assistant principal at East End Community School, and then I had the good fortune of getting to have him come to Lysa as assistant principal, where he remained until his retirement this year. And I can say this, I have never met anybody who has been more dedicated to serving children, is more kid-centric, and is tireless in his advocacy for all students. It has been an absolute pleasure, honor, privilege, Peter, to be side by side with you. And I have to say, I'm so happy for you, and I know you're going to enjoy every moment with that new granddaughter. Can we have another slide, please? Because here she is, I believe. Not yet. No, maybe not. Maybe this isn't it. Oh, there's Mount Lyseth and Peter on his scooter. Yeah. But it is an absolute honor and privilege. And I have to say, all these words don't even begin to remotely sum up what Peter McCormick is and has been to Lyseth Elementary School. Thank you, Peter. I love you.
Thank you. Right back at you. I just have a very brief comment. I've been proudly associated with Portland schools pretty much my entire life. I'm one of 7 children, all of them Deering graduates. My 3 children, Alice, Kelly, and Parker, attended Portland schools. My dear sister Jane taught at Reiki. I've served the district and its children loyally for 35 years as a teacher and an administrator. I had the great fortune to close out my career at Lyseth Elementary, which is just an amazing school community. And I will just be forever appreciative of all the Portland Public Schools has meant to me and my family. Thank you.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thank you, Ben.
This is your neighbor, Ben Donaldson, over at Lyman Moore Middle School. We're going to miss you across the parking lot next year. Please come back and visit us. But I'm not here for Peter. I'm primarily here for Esther Payson, who had an industrious career in Portland schools, the last stint of which she kindly committed her time and energy to us at Lyman Moore. And I'd like to share with you some words that the case manager with whom she worked shared on Esther's behalf. So he said, Esther worked in a behavior support program the last couple of years at Lyman Moore. Her students required a high level of support throughout the school day. Many of these students needed specific things to match their needs, ranging from emotional to academic, to help focusing for long periods of time. Esther was able to make accommodations in the classroom for all students she served. Many of these students needed different levels of support, and sometimes it changed by the hour. Esther was a team player and was able to communicate student needs in a timely manner. Also, she was able to keep me grounded in my role by letting me know areas of concern in the program. More importantly, she was a great person and a great colleague, doing anything for anyone around her. From bringing in vegetables from her garden, to making hot sauce from hot peppers, cooking treats, or giving you advice on how to manage your plants at home. So thank you, Joe, for submitting that on behalf of Esther. And I would just like to add that as a school, we're going to miss these attributes that you see now. She stood out at Moore for being trilingual and connecting with kids in a lot of different languages, always accepting new challenges and seeing them as opportunities, always keeping her cool with kids. She was great to join the community and contribute. We all know Esther as an avid reader and an extraordinary gardener. And she was such a giving person in our community that since December, when she headed south, we've been missing Esther Payson. Thanks, Esther.
I'm up. This is Grace Valenzuela, and I am here to honor the service of Blanca Santiago. I want to move the next slide. So Blanca Santiago is a late blooming licensed clinical social worker who has spent 3 decades developing visibility, safe spaces, and resources for the Latinx and immigrant communities in Maine. Working with the poor and the disenfranchised has been her lifelong calling. Next slide, Janet, please. In her role as family resource specialist at Portland Public Schools, Blanca worked to support vulnerable families and individuals in direct service capacities. She initiated the district's SHIFA program. SHIFA stands for Supporting the Health of Immigrant Families and Adolescents. She also established multicultural student affinity groups at various schools and among different age groups. She supported students and mentored social work interns on their journey to become culturally responsive practitioners. She brought to Multilingual's parent and community specialist team and to the district social worker team a wealth of knowledge, lived experiences, and resource connections that she harnessed from her work focused on community organizing and advocacy for marginalized groups. Her commitment to empowering families while serving their basic and aspirational needs is a critical lens needed in work that promote social and educational justice. Next slide, please, Janet. And I want to bring the voice of some folks who work with Blanca from the multilingual team and from the social work team. Here are some of the words that come to mind to describe her: passionate, fierce, determined, strong, bold, intuitive, generous, kind, supportive, collaborative, devoted, helpful, tenacious, hardworking, and my favorite description of you, Blanca, sassy. Felicitaciones, Blanca. We will miss you greatly, and best of luck in your next endeavor. And if you want to say something, Blanca, please turn on your microphone if you can. Are you up for it, Blanca? Well, so we can move to the next person.
Good evening. I'm Beverly Stevens, the principal at Ocean Avenue School, and I'm here with sad news for us, but happy news for our 4 retirees. That first up is Loretta Smith. She's been in ed tech with the district, I think, for 34 years. She also works for Portland Rec. She's done so much for the students of the city. She is the welcomer at our school. She welcomes everyone in. Anytime we have a new ed tech or teacher starting, she is the person everybody recognizes as, you are the first person I met at Ocean. She has a sense of humor that has the whole staff rolling. She's done PDs for us, and we are just cracking up while we're learning. So we so appreciate Loretta. Anytime she has something she wants to say to you, she'll be, honey, and then she'll come up with a statement that she wants to make. So she's really connecting and sweet. But we know when we hear that word, honey, we need to listen up. Can you go to the next slide? People also appreciate how Laura always puts the kettle on in the morning so that the tea is ready. Next slide. Loretta has taught so many kids how to read. That's her job at Literacy Ed Tech with us, and so she's done so much. She's also been our recess captain and done summer school, but she is also our MC. We will miss her as our MC for all of our events. We will miss you, Loretta. Can we back to the next slide? Carolyn Cohen. So Carolyn has been at Ocean since we opened, and so is Loretta. Since we opened, they came both from Clifford School, and I first met Carolyn when she was in the basement at Clifford School. She could make anything work. She could do a PE program with a stick. She is so innovative and creative. Next slide. She is a lover of baseball, and she has season Patriots tickets. She loves all things sports. She has done so much with the running club and track. She has kids knowing that they can do it. She builds their confidence so that when they leave us, they know that they can do it at middle school. They're able to try new things. She's also so creative. Can you see the next slide too? She has worked with our team to create 5210 math night. So we took health and math and curated it together for a curriculum night. And so we're shooting baskets and knowing that we made 3 out of the 5 baskets. So that's 3/5 of the baskets we've made. So we've been able to take our PE and connect it with many different curriculum pieces. She is the positive attitude personified. So thank you, Carolyn. We will miss you. Juanita DeWitt, I also met at Clifford School. She's worked for the district for 19 years, I think. She has done so much. She is always willing to help another teacher, and she's willing to share her organization, which is powerful. She is powerfully organized, and it changes our school. She is so kind. She is able to work with the most hurt or traumatic child, and she's able to bring out the best and help them grow, and so that they know that they can go on to first grade and do the work that they need to do. So Juanita has been a kindergarten teacher since I've known her, but she's also worked in other grade levels. You can see the next slide too. So there she is on the 100th day of school. Her classroom is just so peaceful, and we just really appreciate it. And we will miss Juanita. Next slide. Judy Riley. Judy Riley came to us soon after we opened. She's been there almost as long as everyone else, 10 years or so. Judy is quick to share. She is willing to share with anyone. She shares her lessons. She shares her tips or tricks about how to work with a kid or how to get across a math point. She also shares her copier code with almost everyone. She has stayed on an extra year because she wanted to do the math program. She is a learner, not only a teacher, but a learner. And so she stayed on another whole year just to know what that was like. And so when she was doing this new math program in her classroom, people who would come in to watch her do it wanted to stay all day. She is a teacher's teacher. She's done so much as a mentor and as a coach and as a leader. And she just crushes it every day for those kids. The growth for her third grade kids is amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you so, if we could see the next slide, that'd be great. If we, thank you so much. They've all four of these people have been leaders in our school and really made Ocean Ave what it is. You guys have changed our school. So thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see all of you, and congratulations to all the distinguished retirees. 44. Wow, that's quite an amazing feat. I'm here tonight to pay tribute to our wonderful Peaks Island and Cliff Island Secretary, Pamela Belloc. And Miss Pam, as the children call her, has been a beloved member of our staff at the island schools. However, before Pam came to Portland Public Schools as a secretary, her background is quite distinguished. She is a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. I cannot think of any background that prepares someone to be an elementary school secretary more than Pam's background, and she has just brought it to a new level. Pam actually got her start at Peaks Island School and as an ed tech for 4 years. Then she spent the next 12 years as secretary at Reiki. Then she moved across town to Paz, spent some time at central office upstairs. Then she moved to Longfellow, and finally she returned to her true home at Portland Public Schools at Peaks Island and has been there for the past 6 years. Like many secretaries, Pam's responsibilities have been as varied as anyone could imagine. In addition to her regular job description responsibilities, Miss Pam has been known as the go-to person for Band-Aids, for ice packs, a listening ear for students and staff. I always picture Lucy with 5 cents for advice when I think of Pam, and sometimes when the students come down. The visual of Lucy in the comic strip Peanuts is completely emblematic of Miss Pam. She has been the finder of lost mittens, occasional fill-in for lunch duty, playground security guard, and most of all, the keeper of the unyielding boat schedules that we live by every day. Pam, thank you for keeping our schools in tip-top shape. And as we think of ourselves as ships, with you keeping that rudder just going steady, even if we do list from time to time, which often has made for some good rollicking fun, we so appreciate all that you have done. You encapsulate someone who truly loves children, and you can see visibly how much you have enjoyed your job. It has just been phenomenal, and we thank you so much for it. It's important to know that Pam recently became a first-time grandmother, and that seemed to seal the deal for her to end her distinguished and long tenure at Portland Public Schools on a high note. And Pam, all of us at Peaks Island and Cliff Island wish you the very, very best in your exciting new adventure. But don't be surprised if you get a phone call now and then from someone saying they've missed the boat. So thank you, Pam. We adore you, and we are so excited for the journey you're about to embark. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like Kevin is here. We congratulate his retirees, Tim Lippert and John Carmichael. Congratulations, Tim and John. Best wishes to you.
Good evening. I'm Sheila Jepson, the principal at Portland High School, and I am happy to speak about 8 of our retirees this evening. So next slide. Carol Tomshick. Carol is the first person you see when you walk into the office at Portland High School. Carol is a Portland High grad. Next slide, please, Janet. And she was a cheerleader for Portland High. She has one of the busiest roles in our building. The phone is ringing, students are at the desk needing help, a parent is waiting with a question, a message is needed to get to a teacher, subs are asking for assistance, the principal is asking for something, and assistant principals are giving her a special project. All of this Carol handles with grace and a welcoming presence. She juggles many, many tasks, all while keeping an upbeat attitude. Carol is kind, caring, and has a big heart and enjoys helping others. Carol has a heart of gold, and her personality contributed to her being successful at Portland High School. Carol has 3 children and 4 grandchildren. They all live out of state, and she's looking forward to having more time with them. Carol plans to continue to help people by continuing her part-time job in an agency that helps the elderly. You will be missed, Carol. Thank you. Annemarie Salzberg. We've heard a little bit earlier about Annemarie, but I'd like to also add some thoughts. Annemarie's been the transition coordinator for the district. She is hardworking. She never complained. She went above and beyond for students, always. She had the most complicated job in the district, but made it look effortless. She worked with any student and parent, no matter how resistant. She knew nearly every special needs student in the 3 high schools by name. She worked in the morning, early, later in the afternoon, and all summer to meet students' and parents' needs. The next slide, please. Annemarie never got flustered, no matter what. And just this afternoon, she and I were going back and forth, making sure a student had met his requirements to get a diploma. She's one of the best listeners that this person who helped me write this has ever met. If she didn't know the answer, which was rare, she always found out the answer to any question. Annemarie's the nicest person one would ever want to meet. Your replacement has big shoes to fill, Annemarie. We'll miss you. Dan Deniso. Dan has been a math teacher at Portland High School for at least 33 years. We hope that number's right, Dan. Throughout his years at Portland High School, Dan found beauty in mathematics and was passionate about relaying that to his students. He is well-liked and respected by his math colleagues and often shared his knowledge and insights with them. Dan knows how students learn and has a keen sense of how to get a math concept solidified for a student. I had the opportunity to be in Dan's classroom a number of times and saw the passion in his teaching. From geometry to AP calculus, he knew how to get students fired up about math. The next slide, please. I was also fortunate to get to know Dan as the summer school teacher, teaching Algebra 2 a couple of summers when I directed summer school. I remember walking past his classroom on a hot summer morning in July when the program was at Deering and hearing him take students through the paces of Algebra 2. It was not all sit and work on your own in his classroom. The board was filled with examples and equations and all things Algebra 2. He didn't quit on any student. Dan and I also had some philosophical conversations about schooling, about his own teens going through the stages of high school, and what he was learning from them about this place we call high school. Readiness for the world, support beyond just math in a classroom. This is what Dan gave to thousands of students over his long career. A coach, a teacher, an advisor, a questioner of schools and schooling. All he added to the fabric of our lives at Portland High School. Best of luck to you, Dan. Wise-Criscitiello Wise, ELL teacher extraordinaire. Julie's passion for improving, modifying, adjusting, adding, deleting, thinking, and rethinking all aspects of our English language learner program is quite remarkable. I've appreciated her fierce advocacy for students and her expertise in teaching not just English and history, but teaching students about a pep rally, a dance, a student election, a student survey, or translating a heavily dense letter written by the principal to students who speak many different languages. How fortunate Portland High School has been to have Julie leading our English language learner department, and how fortunate I have been to have learned from her these past 4 years. Julie makes sure collaboration happens between our schools and within our school. Her voice in our leadership meetings always reminded us to consider how our planning and thinking would impact our English language learners. Julie is a true leader, one who weekly brought her team of teachers together and pored over work to be done, assessments to collaborate, and met management tasks to address, programmatic shifts to discuss, classroom supports to be offered. The next slide, please. She was key in leading tasks and also key in distributing the tasks to others. She is organized, thoughtful, and an out-of-the-box thinker. From organizing access testing to scheduling parent conferences, identifying who teaches what, to orienting new students to PHS, meeting with families, and celebrating learning, and yes, teaching students US history, Julie did it all. At the core of this work is always students. Your absolute dedication to PHS students, the EL department, and broadening our approach to language learning at PHS is the highest I have ever known in my time in the district. Thank you, Julie. You are the best, and I will miss you as a thought partner. Michael Quinn, a special education teacher. This from his cluster coordinator. Mike is pretty amazing. One thing about Mike that I think sometimes gets obscured by his affable and unifying nature is his profound dedication to his practice as an educator. He brings his colleagues together and is always a willing collaborator, but even more importantly, he truly knows each and every one of his students. He works diligently to identify and design plans to meet their needs, and he approaches every aspect of his practice as an educator with genuine empathy and passion. Now, from my perspective, Mike. I feel fortunate to have met Mike about a dozen years ago in his role as a teacher in the Bayside program. He gently helped us transition students back to high school and was a strong advocate for students, providing them the special education supports required for them to be successful. The next slide, please. Mike took on the role of helping in our theater department the past 2 years, adding to his repertoire of being a jack of all trades. He is a mighty supporter of our music program as well, and even guest conducted a piece last year at our end of the year concert. For those who know him, he has an incredible sense of humor and can, on the spur of the moment, send off an email or say something that has us all laughing. Congratulations on your retirement, Mike. We know we'll see you around. Zarmina Hanifi. Zarmina has been a math teacher with us. Zarmina has lived her passion in her math classroom and the community. She's always maintained strong connections to the community and used these connections for her students and our school. For those who have taught in Zarmina's neighborhood, that's the hallway where her classroom is, we know her joyfulness and felt her love firsthand. We also never knew what would happen when Zarmina bounded into our rooms, but we knew her presence there would bring us joy. Zarmina's approach with students was always caring. Her classroom is always a busy place, and I often couldn't find her in her classroom because she was sitting down in a group with students working closely with them. Multiple languages are spoken in her classroom, and as students explained concepts to each other or peer helpers assisted in translating the concepts. Zarmina juggled so many levels of math and such a wide variety of learning styles. She always remained student-focused. Zarmina was the Key Club advisor for many years, and she was also a major factor in Portland High School getting food from local groups and always made sure our food pantry was well stocked. She worked tirelessly to make sure students had what they needed and never wavered in her strong support for all students. Zarmina loved teaching personal finance and made some great connections with community members who would come in her classroom and teach students about personal finance. I know you will enjoy your retirement, especially with your young grandchildren. All the best to you, Zarmina. Cindy Martin, biology and environmental science teacher. Cindy's tireless commitment to Portland High School began over 3 decades ago with her creation of the Island Project, a grant-funded expeditionary study that brought students and some staff on multiple island overnights over the span of 4 years. Bound editions of these student-created ecological profiles can be found in libraries at PHS and some island libraries. The next slide, please. Cindy has led PHS in energy audit efforts, reduced the use of overhead lighting, secured energy-efficient front doors, sealed leaky windows, and steered the Environmental Club in recycling efforts for years. Under her leadership, the Environmental Club secured funding to put in hand dryers in many of our bathrooms. Cindy was pivotal in getting our internal courtyard area refurbished and redesigned. You have left your mark on PHS in so many visible ways, Cindy. Cindy has taught with passion for her content and a love for her students always. I think she can say that she is the one teacher that has taught at all 3 of the district high schools. Your commitment to Portland High School, the science department, our students, and all things Portland is outstanding. Thank you, Cindy, and enjoy Rangeley and retirement. Barbara Loring, art teacher. An amazing artist, an amazing teacher, and a terrific person. That is Barbara Loring. Barbara has devoted her life to teaching, and according to her colleague art teacher, she doesn't think there are words to adequately describe her impact. But Heather found this quote that she feels describes Barbara as a teacher, and it's by Nikos Kazantzakis. True teachers use themselves as bridges over which they invite their students to cross. Then, having facilitated their crossing, joyfully collapse, encouraging them to create bridges of their own. Barbara's creativity is top-notch. She knows the artist within students, and she's able to masterfully develop students into incredible artists. Half of the 3rd floor of our building is dedicated to art, and I credit Barbara for making that happen. Countless students have been successful in getting grants through Painting for a Purpose, and those students have created amazing projects through their art, and they give back to our community and to communities across the globe. The AP Art Studio, also on the 3rd floor, is solely dedicated to students creating, painting, drawing, and designing. Thank you, Barbara, for your steadfastness, your gifted artistic way, and your incredible presence. Our building and our art program is better having you in it.
Can you hear me? Yes, okay, cool. So I am here to represent Presumpscot Elementary School. My name is Angie Taylor. I'm the principal. And if you could go to the first slide, that would be awesome. So here we go. Judy started her life in Alabama, but moved to Maine with her husband. When they arrived, they spent most of their time in the Gorham Township, where they raised 2 boys. She started teaching Portland 38 years ago, 28 of which have been at Presumpscot. In the 28, I did this math, I'm pretty sure it's accurate. In the 28 years that Judy's been at Presumpscot, she's case managed 600 students, but certainly has touched the 1,300 plus students who attended Presumpscot during her tenure. When I asked the Presumpscot staff to say a few words about Judy, they just wouldn't stop, but here's what they said. She is positive, kind, supportive, wonderful, amazing woman, sincere, helpful, teacher of children, calm, dedicated, kind, hardworking, and helpful. Judy's always positive, no matter how much she has on her plate. She always greets students and staff with a warm smile. I will miss her dearly. A beautiful presence, kind-hearted, and a reminder that everything will be okay. So helpful to me throughout the years, kind, positive, and knowledgeable. You never give up on kids and taught me so much. Judy sees students as teachers. Judy sees students and teachers as people first. She approaches all students from a place of caring and compassion. Judy was always kind, smiling, laughing, and positive. She made her hard job seem easy. She treated staff, students, and parents with the utmost respect. I will miss her terribly. Judy is always composed, compassionate, and caring. She greets everyone with a warm smile and welcome, and will be missed greatly by the students and staff at Presumpscot. I will miss Judy's genuine smile and positive attitude. Judy's such a genuinely kind person. I'm going to miss her kind words, positive attitude, and smile. Best morning partner in the world. Judy is so special. We will miss her. Judy led the way for remaining student-centered. She always did her best and kept students' interest at heart. She advocated and offered calm, nurturing support. It was so inspiring to be around her. Judy, you kept me grounded, and I always felt mutual respect from you. Thank you for the 10 plus years of collaboration. I will so miss you. I have not known Judy as long. I've known her for a year, but I will miss Judy's leadership and her experience. I will miss barging into Judy's office to tell her about a student and watching her say shh, but yet stopping, listening, and in her normal calm way, brainstorming how to address the situation. So if the numbers above represent her history at Baxter, there is not, Presumpscot, there is not a number that represents how much her presence will be missed. Could you go to the next slide, please? Thank you, Judy Wing, for all the time that you've spent at Presumpscot. We will miss you so, so very much. And we're a school that's very small, so you can pretty much see that every single one of the teachers and staff members had something amazing to say about your presence at Presumpscot. So thank you so much.
Hello, next slide, please, Janet. Hello, I'm Renee Serio, one of the 3 teacher leaders at Reiki School, and we're delighted to take some time today to talk about Diane Cohan. Diane Cohan has been working as an ed tech at Reiki School since 1988, 32 years. And there are so many things that Ted, Lori, and I could say about Diane. Her deep skills in teaching small reading groups, her wisdom and quiet leadership with younger staff and students, her mad skills as a substitute teacher and lunch and recess aide. But we want Diane to hear what her colleagues and students said about her. So we asked them. And these are for you, Diane.
Good evening, I'm Lori Babinski, and I am one of the lead teachers at Reiki, and it's an honor to join Ted and Renee in recognizing Diane this evening. Diane is known for her kindness and calmness, and these are the words from staff. From Jesse McCallum, Diane is a dedicated, loving, and kind woman who is unwavering in her support of teachers and students. From Emily Liebling, she has infinite patience and love for her students, and I will miss her very much. From Annetta Weatherhead, Diane has always been so kind and caring to all of us. I will miss her quiet and loving presence in our school. In the words of Laura Graves, when my students hear that a sub is coming, they rile up and worry. When they see you walk into the room, Diane, they relax in reassurance. From Kristen Fox, Diane was always ready to listen if I needed to sort out my feelings, and she helped me gain a more realistic and often humorous perspective on any given situation. And from Christine Keeney, Diane Cohen is the calmest person I have ever worked with. Nothing ruffles her feathers.
Thank you, Lori. My name is Ted Hummel. I'm also one of the lead teachers at Reiki School. And Diane, we know about your cooking. From Marianne Foley, her door is always open, and she and Fran, her husband, make you feel like you're a part of their family. She is a terrific cook, and she loves a good joke. From Lynn Preventer, Diane makes the best meatballs ever. I will miss talking about homemade pasta with her. From Ian Demers, I miss you and also your mouth-watering chocolate fudge.
Thank you, Ted. Janet, could we have the next slide, please? We also heard from some students. These are first graders. Mrs. Cohan has the same name as one of my teachers from Texas, so I felt like I had a friend when I came to Reiki. Sometimes a friend and I would sneak together to the water fountain so we could say hi to Mrs. Cohan. I like that she took me away from reading time just to read with her. Can you tell her that I caught a grasshopper? And this is from our art teacher, Allison Villani, whose children went to Reiki school. Mrs. Cohan was a huge comfort and support to both of my children when they were in kindergarten. My daughter especially just loved her. She said, "She smells like Nana," which was a good thing because Bobby Sue loves her Nana. And this is from a second grade parent. Her name is Dr. Clovis Lumba. We'll carry you with our children in our hearts so that your days remain forever filled with these beautiful memories of the better days next to our little angels.
Thank you, Renee. Diane, we will all miss you. From Lisa Scott. I'm not really sure, just so kind and caring. She's full and friendly. Joke and laugh in bad news stories. From Modern, Diane, our prayers for each other, our personal issues and concerns for each other when each of us are absent. So I wish you rest, more rest and joy. And Mrs. Esther Bark, Diane, you are always for me. Thank you for all those moments we laugh, cry, and try to remember things. I will miss you a lot. Mrs. Cohan, we too wish you to spend your time with your grandchildren. Your positive impact on Reiki School cannot be overstated. As you can hear from what everyone said, you enriched many, many lives of our students and staff. Thank you, Diane.
And Diane's daughter, she doesn't know this, sent a video of her and her family, which I hope Janet can play. Let's see if it works.
Hi everyone, I'm Barbara Fletcher. I am the very proud principal of Amanda C. Rowe Elementary School. It is my pleasure to be here this evening to speak on behalf of the Rowe School community about 3 amazing retirees. While I'm sad to have only known these ladies for a short time and work alongside them these very talented educators. I am honored for this opportunity to share their deep-rooted histories with Portland Public Schools. Cindy Taylor, Kathy St. Clair, and Sandy Sherry's contributions total 109 years of service to PPS students and families, and these teachers will be dearly missed. Next slide. Okay, so starting with Sandy Sherry. Sandy began her 38-year journey with Portland Public Schools in 1978 as a kindergarten first grade special education teacher at North School with a salary, she told me, of $9,100, followed by a year at Prep, an alternative school in Portland at the time. Sandy then spent the next 8 years teaching in both developmental and regular education kindergarten programs at Nathan Clifford and Riverton schools. After taking some time off to raise her family, Sandy came back to PPS in 1993 when hired as a kindergarten teacher at Hall School, where she has been instructing and inspiring the youngest of learners within the Hall Road community ever since. Sandy has added additional value to the PPS community over the years as a grant writer, having been awarded $8,000 for school and classroom projects, and a mentor both aspiring teacher interns and new PPS teachers. Sandy was also named Portland Teacher of the Year in 1988 and Hall School Teacher of the Year in 2012. Next slide. Sandy is appreciated and respected by her colleagues for the following: taking care of the trademark Roe Aquarium, her great sense of humor, being a highly skilled teacher, understanding the developmental needs and learning styles of young children, inspiring students through her own passions, including her love of science and nature, treating children as intelligent humans rather than just little kids, her dedication and devotion to student learning and growth, going above and beyond for all members of the school community, kindness and compassion toward others, being a cornerstone of the school community who is truly here to make the world a better place. And you can see some of the words here that her colleagues have put forward to describe her. During physical school, Sandy's classroom is abuzz with cheerful, vibrant, and lively discussion around all different types of learning. Sandy artfully choreographs a classroom environment that is safe, nurturing, and welcoming to all, and where students are confident to learn through both mistakes and achievements. During remote school, Sandy has been steadfast in her fortitude to connect with students and families and break down existing barriers to the great challenges of remote schooling with our youngest learners. Sandy made the transition into the new remote learning context with deliberate attention to meeting the academic and social emotional needs of her students through a variety of online lessons and a ton of Zooming. We wish Sandy a beautifully peaceful start to her retirement. We also hope she comes back to visit and continues to share her passion for nature-based teaching and learning with our school community. Congratulations, Sandy. Next is Kathy St. Clair. So Kathy St. Clair began her deeply rooted 40-year journey with Portland Public Schools as a kindergartner at Hall School, where she was a student through 6th grade. And you'll see a picture of her as a child in just a minute. In 1980, right out of college, Kathy was hired as a special education technician in a developmental kindergarten program at Nathan Clifford School that was actually taught by Sandy Sherry, where she stayed for a month before becoming a teacher of another developmental K classroom at Lyseth. The following year, this program moved to Hall School, and Kathy has been a teacher within the Hall Road community ever since. Kathy taught special education for a total of 5 years before moving into 1st and 2nd grade primary teaching positions. During her time at Hall in the 1990s, Kathy and former Hall Row retiree Heidi Littman piloted a co-taught multi-age 1st and 2nd grade classroom and continued with multi-age looping or straight grade co-teaching for 25 years. Kathy has added additional value to the PPS community over the years as a teacher mentor, highly regarded member of the Hall Row leadership team, and creator of exciting project-based curricula for diverse learners. And next slide. Kathy is appreciated and respected by her colleagues for the following: eloquently rallying for the rights of students and staff, being student-centered and an advocate for student-focused decision-making, role modeling and mentorship, leadership in all aspects of school and district life, generosity and willingness to help others under any circumstances, being poised and articulate, having high expectations for students and going above and beyond to ensure that all students experience success, being a team player and collaborator, creating a safe, welcoming, and inclusive environment for all. And the next slide, I think, shows a picture of Kathy as a first grader at Hall School. During physical school, Kathy's room is abuzz with enthusiasm and energy for academic and social emotional learning. Students in Kathy's care are happy and well connected to one another as members of a beautifully orchestrated classroom community. During remote school, Kathy has been resolute in maintaining connections with students and families and collaborating with her team to provide engaging and relevant learning opportunities for students. Kathy took on this new virtual context of school both thoughtfully and gracefully, continuing to keep the strengths and needs of her students at the forefront through online lessons and, again, lots of Zooming. We wish Kathy a brilliantly sunny start to her retirement. We also hope she comes back to visit and shares her love for children and the people of our community with us. Congratulations to Kathy. And Cindy Taylor. Cindy Taylor began her 31-year journey with Portland Public Schools in 1989 as a fourth grade teacher at Baxter School, where she taught for 11 years at the second, third, and fourth grade levels and participated in the implementation of Baxter's amphitheater project. During her time at Baxter, Cindy also began her journey as an ELL teacher, working with kindergarten English language learners. In 2000, Cindy began as a full-time ELL teacher at Hall School and has been a teacher in the Hall Road community ever since, providing instruction to English language learners at all grade levels, and most recently at the 3rd through 5th grade level. Cindy has added additional value to the PPS community over the years as an Odyssey of the Mind coach and coordinator for Hall School, taking 8 teams to World Finals, as a math coach and a mentor teacher. Cindy is also well known and appreciated for offering after-school knitting and sewing clubs for students and staff. Next slide. Cindy is appreciated and respected by her colleagues for the following: loving her students and advocating for them strongly, being a passionate voice for teachers, craft projects, creativity and engaging students in learning, going above and beyond to make learning fun through arts, crafts, and reward systems for efforts and achievement, being a supportive listener for staff and students, compassion and care for others, dedication and commitment to the school community, understanding of our culturally diverse population of learners, and determination to support high levels of achievement for all. During physical school, Cindy's classroom is abuzz with joyful learning, conversation, and perseverance toward goals. During remote school, Cindy has been persistent in ensuring that she not only maintained connections with her students and families, but also in creating meaningful and accessible learning opportunities for all. Cindy was instrumental in designing work packets for English language learners across the district during distance learning. Cindy has also been Zooming with her students day and night, supporting them academically and social emotionally. We at Rowe wish Cindy an excitingly cheerful and smooth start to her retirement. We also hope she comes back to visit and continues to share her craftiness and creativity with our school community. Congratulations, Cindy.
Dear Cynthia, it is so hard to believe that you are leaving Riverton after so many years, but please be assured that you are leaving behind a long-lasting impression. You are such a talented teacher who will always be known for your incredible kindness, patience, gentleness, and care. Retiring from a job, particularly one where you have had such longevity, is a bittersweet event. On the one hand, we are happy for you, Cynthia, as you look forward to your future and to having more time to do the things that you've always wanted to do. But we also feel sadness at your leaving. You have done an amazing job supporting students on your caseload for years, and it will be hard to find someone who will be as thoughtful and dedicated to helping students with different needs as you have done. As a teacher, you have empowered your students to become problem solvers and have helped so many children overcome reading challenges and other learning difficulties. You have been a true partner when collaborating with classroom teachers to find ways to support and strengthen your students' unique needs. You are a hero at connecting with kids, especially remotely, and not letting anyone fall off the radar. You have made a lasting impression on the world through the lives of the students you have taught. It has been a joy to work with you. I know you can look back on your time with us as one of achievement and a job well done. Everyone at Riverton wishes you all the best. You will be missed by your colleagues, your students and families, and by me. Thank you and happy retirement.
Good evening. It's my pleasure as the transportation director to get a chance to speak to one of our retirees. Clint McGraw retired from the Coast Guard after 20 years of service. And then August 16th of 1998, he came in and jumped in Portland Public Schools. In his last few years, he served King Middle School and Ocean Elementary and Rowe Elementary. He was consistent. He was faithful. He never missed a beat. He showed up every day. He was extremely caring. He went overboard in being safe. And lastly, he finished well. I know that our department was better for it. I know that our district was better for it. I know the individuals in our department were better for it. It's my privilege to thank him publicly. I know that our department has thanked him privately, but for those drivers that often are not seen in the shadows, they serve early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Clint was a valuable asset and employee and friend to many. And we couldn't be more thankful for Bus 76 and the man that sat in that seat and drove daily, faithfully, all the way to his last day. So thank you, Clint. We're proud of you and super thankful for you.
I think that wraps this up. Is that correct, Grace?
Yes, it is.
All right. So this is what makes this type of event so awkward. I know that if we were all together right now, we would be rising up and giving everybody a standing ovation. We obviously cannot do that. I don't know if everybody's familiar with the little wave, which is applause on camera. So why don't we all give these amazing people a rousing applause with our gratitude for the almost 1,200 years of service that you have given to the Portland Public Schools. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is just always such a wonderful event and such a great opportunity to hear all of the amazing contributions that each and every one of you has made to the Portland Public Schools. And as superintendent, I can't thank you enough. I know that I've only been here for 4 years, but I've met virtually 90% of you personally and have my own stories to tell. And you are an amazing group of people and you will be sorely missed. So thank you again, and best to you in the next step of your life. Thank you. Chair?
Yes, thank you, Superintendent, for closing us out on the retirement ceremony. I agree, it's an unfortunate setting to hold this and to recognize such long service from so many dedicated individuals. I hope that in the future we can make this up to you. In-person ceremonies are always so special. And I, like Superintendent, have only been here for a short time, but I know a couple of these folks very dearly. And Mr. McCormick keeps sticking over here in the corner. I can't stop seeing him. He my daughter went to Lycett, so of course I've known him for several years, and I've seen his work and many of the other retirees. So again, wish we could all be in person and giving you a really long standing ovation and celebrating everything that you've contributed to the district. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. Thank you.